Bulgaria is a land where layers of history overlap, like the pages of an ancient manuscript, each revealing secrets shaped by empires, migrations, battles, and traditions that survived against overwhelming odds. To understand the secrets of Bulgaria, one must go far back, long before it carried the name Bulgaria, to a land inhabited by Thracians, one of the oldest known peoples in Europe. The Thracians left mysterious tombs, gold treasures, and rituals that still puzzle historians. Their tombs at Kazanlak and Svestori reveal astonishing artistic skill, while the Panagurist gold treasure remains one of the most beautiful ancient artifacts ever discovered. But the greatest secret of the Thracians is how such a culturally rich and powerful people could disappear from the historical record almost entirely, leaving only their monuments as whispers from the past. Centuries later, new tribes from the Eurasian steppe appeared. The Bulgars, led by powerful Khans like Asparuh, they crossed the Danube and forged a new identity by merging with the Slavic populations already living in the region. This merging itself is one of Bulgaria's fascinating historical secrets. The Bulgars were originally a Turkic nomadic people, yet within a century they abandoned their old language, adopted Slavic speech, and created a kingdom that became one of medieval Europe's strongest states. Very few nomadic tribes in history blended so completely and yet managed to form a lasting cultural legacy. The birth of the First Bulgarian Empire in 681 marks one of Europe's oldest continuous state formations and one of its most strategically influential, something few outside the Balkans even know. Another secret lies in Bulgaria's early embrace of Christianity. In the 9th century, under Boris I, Bulgaria underwent a dramatic transformation. Boris understood that accepting Christianity would place Bulgaria on equal footing with its powerful neighbors, Byzantium and the Frankish Empire. But what is often forgotten is how brilliantly he maneuvered between the two Christian centers of power, ultimately securing an independent Bulgarian church. This independence protected Bulgarian culture from foreign domination and allowed something extraordinary to take root. The Cyrillic alphabet, created by the disciples of Saints Cyril and Methodius, it became the writing system not only for Bulgaria, but for much of Eastern Europe and Russia. Few people know that modern Cyrillic, now used by over 250 million people, truly flourished and evolved first on Bulgarian soil. Bulgaria became a cultural beacon in the medieval world, preserving Slavic heritage and religious texts during times when many regions were torn apart by war. The rise of Tsar Simeon the Great added another layer to Bulgaria's hidden legacy. Under his rule, Bulgaria reached its golden age, becoming one of the largest and most educated states in medieval Europe. Literature, art, and architecture flourished. Sofia and Preslav blossomed into cultural capitals, and Bulgarian influence stretched from the Black Sea to the Adriatic. Yet the secret, often untold, is how close Bulgaria came to becoming the dominant force in Europe. Had a few key battles turned out differently, the map of the continent might look entirely different today. The rivalry with Byzantium defined the era, and though Bulgaria achieved immense power, internal conflicts and external pressures eventually weakened it. The fall of the First Bulgarian Empire to Byzantium in 1018 was not the end. Bulgarians preserved their identity during 2 centuries of foreign rule. The secret of this survival lies in their traditions, village networks, and strong religious institutions. When the time was right, the uprising of the brothers Azan and Peter ignited the creation of the Second Bulgarian Empire in 1185. What followed was another age of power and prosperity. Under Tsar Kaloyan, and later Tsar Ivan II, Bulgaria dominated the Balkans, becoming a diplomatic and economic center. Bulgaria even defeated the Latin Empire, something few European kingdoms could accomplish. The 13th century saw Bulgaria developing international trade and forging connections with Venice, Genoa, and other major powers. Yet this era also holds a darker secret. The empire, as eventual decline was triggered as much by internal rivalries as by external foes. Noble families fought for power, weakening the state from within, allowing enemies to exploit the cracks. The Ottoman conquest in the late 14th century marked a profound shift. For nearly 5 centuries, Bulgaria disappeared from the map, but not from memory. The Ottoman period remains one of the most misunderstood chapters of Bulgarian history. While it involved heavy taxation, cultural oppression, and the Devshirme system, it also brought complex cultural exchanges that shaped Bulgarian customs, food, and architecture. The secret of Bulgaria's endurance through this era lies in its monasteries. Hidden in forests and mountains, they became centers of education and cultural preservation. Monks' copied manuscripts kept the Bulgarian language alive and nurtured national identity at a time when open resistance was dangerous. By the 18th and 19th centuries, something remarkable happened. The Bulgarian national revival, schools opened, writers emerged, and the idea of a Bulgarian nation was reborn. Figures like Paisi Helendarsky and Ivan Vazov became symbols of this awakening. The secret behind this cultural explosion lies in the network of craftsmen, merchants, and scholars who traveled throughout Europe and brought back new ideas. These influences helped Bulgaria modernize rapidly, creating a national consciousness that eventually fueled the struggle for independence. The April Uprising of 1876 was a turning point. Though brutally suppressed, it exposed the oppression faced by Bulgarians and sparked international outrage. This helped trigger the Russo-Turkish War of 1877–78, which led to Bulgaria's liberation. Yet another secret lies here. The Bulgaria created by the Treaty of San Stefano was meant to be a large and powerful state, uniting most Bulgarian populated territories. But the subsequent Treaty of Berlin broke it apart, planting the seeds for future conflicts. Many Bulgarians saw this as a great injustice, and it shaped national politics for decades. The 20th century brought its own dramatic twists. Bulgaria's involvement in the Balkan Wars and World Wars stemmed from a desire to restore lost territories. These attempts, however, often resulted in defeat and political turmoil. One of the lesser-known secrets of this era is Bulgaria's quiet resistance during World War II. Although aligned with the Axis powers, Bulgaria refused to send its Jewish population to Nazi death camps. Influenced by the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, politicians, and ordinary citizens, the country saved nearly 50,000 Jews, one of the most remarkable humanitarian acts in European history. After World War II, Bulgaria entered the communist era, becoming closely aligned with the Soviet Union. This period transformed the country through industrialization, education reforms, and infrastructural development. But it also brought censorship, political repression, and forced assimilation policies against minorities. The secret of this era lies in the double life many Bulgarians lived. Outward conformity paired with private preservation of traditions, beliefs, and dissenting thoughts. When communism collapsed in 1989, Bulgaria entered a turbulent transition marked by economic hardship, political instability, and social change. Today, Bulgaria is a member of NATO and the European Union, yet it remains one of Europe's most unique and culturally rich nations. Its secrets lie not only in ancient tombs, golden treasures, or medieval chronicles, but in the resilience of its people who have preserved their identity through conquest, empire, and revolution. The country stands as a bridge between East and West, between the ancient and the modern, between mystery and history. The story of Bulgaria is one of survival, reinvention, an enduring legacy, proof that even small nations can shape the course of civilization in ways the world often forgets.